Jessie Moss is a tangata Tiriti trade unionist and kaimahi at NZI Te Rūroa. I've had the privilege of working alongside her on our union's recent campaign against the Treaty Principles Bill. She knows that attacks on Te Tiriti are also attacks on the future of education in this country. Our tamariki deserve to grow up in an Aotearoa where te reo Māori is thriving, where our history is told truthfully, and where Māori knowledge and ways of being are valued. Jessie stands as an example of what true Pākehā allyship looks like, not just speaking words of support, but taking action, using her position to challenge the systems that continue to undermine Māori rights and standing alongside us in the fight for justice. Jessie, haramai.
Tēnā tātou katoa, tēnā koe anaru, he mihi kaurana ki a koe e Catherine o Taranaki Whānui. Ko wai au, he uria hau o Ingarani, no Kotirani, no Airani, anō hoki, he tangata Tiriti ahau, he Pākehā ahau. Tōku rua aku tamahine, no Kaitahu, no Ngāti Pāhuira, no Maniapoto hoki rāua. Kei te awa kairangi mātou e noho ana, kei te whenua o te atiawa. I'm a descendant of English, Irish and Scottish colonists. My children also whakapapa to Kaitahu, Maniapoto and Ngāti Pāhuira. We live in Te Awa Kairangi on Te Atiawa land. The first of my ancestors to arrive in Aotearoa was Scotsman William Morrison. He arrived on board the Aurora at Petoone on January 22nd, 1840, weeks before Te Tiriti was first signed. 22-year-old William was servant to surveyor William Deans, part of the imported capitalist class system. Within weeks of setting up camp at Te Awa Kairangi, Deans diaried, "I do not know how we would have survived without the help of Māori. In the beginning, we were overwhelmed by the task before us, and completely dependent on their goodwill. They gave us food, built our houses, plied us with hospitality, taught us how to survive in their land, gave us their labour and their friendship in exchange for mere trifles. They were far more helpful than the company men who are supposed to have set everything up for us. All they wanted in return was our protection." In his first days here, Deans asked Te Atiawa Rangatira for housing assistance. He wrote, "I asked if he could spare some of his men to help me build a house. We decided on a site, choosing a sheltered spot, and Will drew a plan of a house with a long stick in the sand to show his labourers the length and width of the structure. When the house was finished, I paid our Māori builders a blanket each. It seemed a pitiful exchange for such an important job, but they were delighted. The audacity. Once established here, my ancestors' identities changed. They became Pākehā, a distinct identity given by Māori, an acknowledgement that the colonisers' lives were diverging from their families at home, that their experiences were shaped by Aotearoa and their relationships with tangata whenua. My identity as tangata Tiriti comes from Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and the responsibilities I have in upholding the treaty that allowed my people to thrive here, despite all that colonialism continues to do. Some refuse these identities entirely, preferring to be known nationalistically, neutrally, as New Zealanders. Pākehā and tangata Tiriti identities are powerful and positive. They locate us here. They embody acknowledgement of our history, the lands we came from, and that there is an agreement about how to thrive here together. Also, that we, as members of the group that continue to dishonour Te Tiriti while remaining beneficiaries of it, must actively uphold and advance the promises and potential of Te Tiriti or Waitangi. Being Pākehā is a mixed bag. Pākehā are often said to be cultureless, and if that's based on the numbers of songs that we can collectively sing, then yep, Happy Birthday and what's the other one? The National Anthem, prove me wrong. However, claiming that Pākehā are cultureless or that we are all just New Zealanders both hides the realities of ongoing colonisation while upholding the mistruth that the way colonists and their descendants operate in Aotearoa is just the way it is, the natural order of things. The truth of our Pākehā culture is that it is rooted in capitalism, the class system, patriarchy and white supremacy. It's unpleasant to say that our culture is based on an inheritance of exploiting people and the planet. But left unchallenged, our culture feeds further degradation of the environment, wealth accumulation for the few, and hardship for the masses. It doesn't have to be this way. It is up to us to change our culture. We have far-right libertarian government with an agenda to return to the unbridled exploitation of land and people to benefit the few. Te Tiriti is our safeguard against this greed. Te Tiriti reasserts existing tino rangatiratanga of tangata whenua. The coalition wants to quash this. Pākehā and tangata Tiriti are crucial to getting rid of this government and stopping libertarianism and fascism in its tracks. They arise from our culture. Being a New Zealander is easy. Being Pākehā, and more so tangata Tiriti, means understanding the reality of colonialism. It means changing the system. I'm an educationalist and a unionist, and to stop this government's anti-Māori agenda, we must all be concerned with education. I'm passionate about kids learning real history. This government doesn't want that. They want to see less localisation of the curriculum, disconnection between kura, schools, iwi, hapu and communities. They want to determine the limited histories that are taught to our kids. Today, the coalition government is asserting its colonial far-right libertarianism on our tamariki mokopuna. Theirs is an ideology of individualism, profit over people and erasure of historical truth. Where there is no place for collectivity, self-determination or Indigenous knowledge. A Pākehā woman, a racist and a fascist called Elizabeth Rata, is the architect of our new white stream English curriculum. She's a close advisor to our Minister of Education, and she had this to say last month. There is no place for traditional knowledge in the curriculum except as an object of study. If we take the Māori example, the Māori legends, the Māori language, the place for that in the curriculum is where it would be studied. There is no place for unchallengeable belief in curriculum. Which is interesting, because my own family history challenges what I was taught at school. My curriculum is for all tamariki mokopuna to have access to real history, that they can learn immersed in Te Ao Māori, with mātou ranga Māori and te reo Māori, and that if anything is to be an object of study, it is the oppressive systems we live in today and how to dismantle them together. There is no place for libertarianism, for fascist belief in the worlds of our tamariki mokopuna. There is only a Te Tiriti-led Aotearoa, with Pākehā, with tangata Tiriti and tauiwi and Kotahitanga, with mana whenua. Mauri ora.